Alrighty guys, welcome to our warm acquisition modules. These modules right here is going to help you get your first or next client within the next 7 to 14 days using the audience that you already have. Now, the purpose behind this, as I mentioned in the previous module, is to fund your VA system. Oftentimes, the biggest bottleneck that a lot of new business owners face, or essentially new bosses face, is how can I pay for this team? If the team is going to be doing all this work for me, how can I pay for this team without it being a huge burden to me? And oftentimes, they try and just pay for the team out of their savings without having any kind of free cash flow coming in. And if the system doesn't work within the first month, then they have to throw it all away because it's now eating into their savings. That is the wrong way to run your business. And that's why I want to start with these warm acquisition modules first, so that it can take this weight off your shoulders and you can afford to stay in the game long enough to dial in your VAs, and essentially that system will take care of everything else for you. You don't actually have to worry about, is the system going to make the money? Is it going to work? No, you just have to worry about right here, right now. And I'm going to break it down how simple the next couple steps ahead of you are. It's a much easier pill to swallow than how am I going to make 10K a month? No, you don't actually have to do that. And I'm going to break it down right here. So let's dive straight into things. Every single one of you in this program has got a warm audience already. Okay. This could be, your current Instagram following. It could be your Facebook following. If you have LinkedIn people, every single one of you has an audience right now. Okay. By the way, it doesn't have to be a massive audience at all, right? But every single one of you has a warm audience right here. And I'm willing to bet you guys aren't extracting the full value out of this warm audience yet. Now, a lot of the time, the mistake that coaches make is they try, when they're trying to sell, a really high ticket program, they only look at their warm audience. And if their warm audience can't afford this big thing, then they kind of just give up. They're like, okay, well then I need to scrap high ticket. It doesn't work. No. It's the audience, right? The purpose behind this, if you have a really big audience, the chances that you will have people in your warm audience that can afford the high ticket thing is a lot higher because you just have more people to work through. But even if you have a smaller audience, the objective here is how can we liquidate our warm audience to just get one client within the next 7 days that can fund our VA system. So let's do the math breakdown on that, okay? If we draw another big circle here, that is an awful circle, but you get the idea. If this right here is a cold audience, and now that we've gone through our niche, we understand the principle behind this, right? That our niche, the people with the finances and with a deep enough pain problem that we can solve, these people are not in our audience. These people are going to be able to afford our big thing. Great. Now, in order for us to get to these cold people, as mentioned, you guys know by now, we're using the VA scaling system. Cool. Let's do the math breakdown here. How much does this system cost us, right? For us to be able to use the VA system to get to this cold niche that is going to have the funds to pay for our big thing. How do we actually get to these people? Cool. Well, our $5 an hour VA system, let's do the breakdown on that. Okay. Over 4 hours, right? Because it's 4 hours a day to send 100 DMs a day. We're looking at $20 a day. Okay. To kind of erase some of this stuff. We're looking at $20 a day. You'll see as you progress through the program, we can actually get our VAs down to $3 an hour. Once again, across 4 hours in the day, that's actually just $12 a day, right? If we take that over the month, if my math is correct here, I'm actually going to make sure my math is not incorrect before I quote myself and look like an idiot. But $12 a day, if they're working essentially 5 days a week across the 4 weeks, we're looking at a total of $240 a month. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, sure, but minimum we're looking at, around $240 a month to pay for this VA scaling system. Cool. Now, if that's eating away at your savings the whole time, at a certain point, it will weigh on everyone. And the questions you'll start asking yourself is, oh my God, is it working? Is it worth it? Does this method even work? Blah, 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 right? And this is what happens. If we ask ourselves this question, right? Again, if we go back to our decision-making matrix, right? What is the only reason that this $5 an hour VA system would not work? Okay, well, it takes time to dial in, right? That's number one. Some people crack it in the first week. Some people it takes a month or two, all right? It takes time to dial it in. Eventually, you become concerned about spending money. Because of that, you may slow down and stop your acquisition, which means you're going back to the old ways and you're using cold outreach by yourself, or you're not doing it at all, which means you're not growing. So how do we prevent this? By eliminating the cost of the VA. How can we do this? Essentially, if we can just find a way to extract $240 from our warm audience, then we can pay for this whole system, right? Essentially, what does that look like? If we can just get one low ticket client from your existing audience, right? One low ticket client that's paying you, even to be safe, $250 a month, right? If you're not comfortable charging that amount yet for a low ticket program, then how can you get two people at like $150 each, right? A client, $150 a client. In your warm audience, every single one of you has at least one or two of these clients available. Like I'm going to show you in the next two modules, I'm going to show you guys the two ways that we can actually extract this audience the best and get at least 1 to 2 clients on board within the next 7 to 14 days at a low ticket price point, right? These clients now will give us free cash flow, right? So that we can pay for this VA system without having to bat an eye, right? Free cash flow. Easy. The free cash flow is what we can rely on to pay for this system, right? This system, the VA system, is what is going to get us to that 10K a month mark, right? The VA system is what's responsible for that, right? Maybe you guys saw it in the previous breakdown, but again, just to run you guys the numbers from that, if your VA is doing 100 DMs per day, right? And we're only booking one call per day, right? Which means in the week, we're having, maybe 5 calls. And even if your closing rate is terrible and you're only closing one person at 2.5K, right? Across the 4 weeks, 10K, right? But notes are really trash in this module, right? But bear with me, okay? The VA system is responsible for that. Your VA is spending 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, so 20 hours your VA is putting in to make this system work. The only thing you need to do to fund this whole system is just get one low ticket client. That's it. Your job is not to worry about how am I going to make 10K? How am I going to make 10K? No. Your job is just how can I make an extra $12 a day? That's it. If you can just figure out how to make an extra $12 a day in free cash flow, then that pays for your VA system. Your VA system generates the results to make you an extra 10K a month. No sweat. Now we've just taken this big problem and we've chunked it all the way down. Your objective, you just need to figure this out. Extra $12 a day, an extra $240 a month. And like I say, that will come in the form of low ticket clients. Easy as. A lot of the times, most people are used to paying for things in terms of time, right? If they are buying something, they're thinking, okay, well, it's going to cost me $2,000, which would have taken me a month worth of work to do. I want you guys to think about this. This is what leverage looks like as a business owner, okay? Essentially, if your one low ticket client per month, right, is just going to take you 1 hour per week to manage. Even if you've got to do the whole process yourself, you're doing all the programming like normal, you're using your app, you're doing all the nutrition plans like normal, you're keeping essentially the cost of that at 0, so you're taking home all $250 per client, right? But the time cost for you is, let's say it's an hour per week to manage. If that's now all you're paying, you're just paying an hour per week in order to pay for the VA system. And the VA system is doing 20 hours per week. That is leverage. Because you're not paying in terms of cash, essentially. Yes, to pay for the VA system, $240 a month. But again, one low ticket client is going to pay for that. The only thing you have to do for that low ticket client is an hour a week of work. So you're paying an hour a week of work and getting 20 hours a week of somebody else's time. That person's time is the VA system that's going to make you your 10K. Hopefully this is making sense. Every single one of you guys has the ability to make an extra $12 a day. Even if it's an extra $20 a day, fine. Every single one of you in this program has the ability to make an extra $12 a day. How do I know that? Because you're in this program. This program, to join this program, costs a lot more than an extra $12 a day. But you guys figured it out. You did it. So just using your same skills that you have right now, every single person in this program is capable of making an extra $12 a day. Absolutely. For me, I had to sell my air conditioner in the middle of Australian summer. It's fucking brutal, right? And I did it because I needed to be able to afford stuff. I didn't have any kind of skills at that point. This was years back, right? All I knew was, cool, I'm going to go to Cash Converters, sell my aircon, and that's it. And that helped me pay for my first mentorship, right? Sold all my tech, sold everything, right? You guys, if you're in this program, you definitely have the skills to make an extra $12 a day. One low ticket client, that's it. So if all you're doing is just leveraging what the skills you have right now, the stuff that you can do right now without having to put too much work in, build a whole new thing, just to get one extra low ticket client that's taking you an hour per week so you can pay for the VA system, that'll do 20 hours per week of work. Congratulations, you are a business owner. Now you understand leverage. Leveraging a little bit of your time to get heaps of other people's time. That is leverage. Right? 1 hour here that is worth a lot. Your 1 hour is worth 20 hours of someone else's time. Congratulations. You are a business owner. Right? And so to help you guys do this, I'm going to be showing you in the next 2 modules my 2 favorite warm acquisition. 2 warm A. Right? Notes are terrible in this one, but ignore it. I'm going to be showing you guys my 2 favorite ones. These are IG story promos. Absolutely awesome. And number 1, warm outreach. Way different to cold outreach. So much easier, actually. IG story promos where they come to you, and warm outreach where you go to them. Super, super easy. And like I said, guys, within the next 7 days, you guys will have at least 1 to 2 clients. And these 1 to 2 clients equals free cash flow, baby. I know I keep repeating myself. I'm so excited for you guys because this will set you guys free. This will take such a weight of the world off your shoulders, and you won't have to quit on this, right? You will not have to give up. Even if it takes time to dial in, no problem. You're only spending an hour per week for your client to pay for the whole thing, no sweat. Right? You're not going to be concerned about money anymore. You're not going to have to slow down or stop your acquisition. You won't have to go back to the old ways. You will be able to grow because now you can afford to stay in the game, keep refining, and then scale, right? So I'm so excited. Let's dive straight into it.